What if I told you you could miss a gorilla standing right in front of your eyes? There was a famous experiment where people watched a basketball game, and they were asked to count the passes made by the players in white shirts. Right in the middle of the video, someone in a gorilla suit walks straight across the screen, and almost half of them never see it. Not because their eyes are broken, not because they are careless, because the brain doesn't show you the whole reality. It shows you what it thinks matters. And the scary part is this: that is not just an experiment. That is your daily life. Today, we are not talking about positive thinking. We are going deeper than that. We are talking about the little mental traps your brain sets for you every single day. And if you do not notice them, your life can quietly pass by while you think you are seeing everything clearly. The real problem is not always that life is hard. Sometimes the real problem is that your brain makes life feel harder than it actually is. And once you see that, the same problem can lead to a completely different result. When you start paying close attention to people, in public spaces, at work, in conversations, and in small, everyday moments, one thing becomes very clear. The difference between people who move forward and people who stay stuck is not always intelligence. A lot of the time, it is perspective. So let me show you 7 games your brain plays on you. The first game is this: your brain does not see reality. It sees expectation. Imagine a man cleaning windows on the 61st floor of a skyscraper. Suddenly, he falls. No safety rope, no harness, nothing. But he does not hit the ground. He gets up and keeps walking. How is that possible? He was standing inside the building, cleaning the inside of the window. But when you first heard that story, your brain probably created a picture for you. Height, danger, falling, death. You did not just hear the facts. You heard your expectation. And we do this all the time. A friend replies with a short message, and you think, they are mad at me. Your boss says, can we talk? And your brain says, I am in trouble. Someone walks past you without saying hello, and suddenly you think, they do not like me anymore. But the truth could be completely different. Maybe they are tired. Maybe they are stressed. Maybe they did not even see you. But the brain hates empty space. When it does not have the full story, it fills the gap with a story of its own. And here is the part most people never think about. You are not seeing the full world in the first place. Your eyes only detect a tiny part of the light around you. Some animals can see colors you cannot see. Some creatures can sense heat in ways your body never will. So from the beginning, your reality is already incomplete. Then you add fear, memory, past pain, childhood experiences, and expectations on top of it. And suddenly, you are not just seeing the world. You are seeing your version of the world. That is why the next time someone acts cold, do not instantly turn it into a movie in your head. Start with only what happened. They acted cold. That is it. Everything after that might be your brain writing fiction. The second game is even more dangerous. When you focus too hard, you go blind. Remember the gorilla experiment? People were so focused on counting passes, they missed the gorilla walking through the middle of the scene. That is not stupidity. That is how attention works. Your brain cannot process everything at once. So when it locks onto one thing, it quietly deletes other things. This is called tunnel vision, and it happens in real life more often than you think. If you are in debt, after a while, all you see is debt. The bills, the pressure, the fear, the number in your bank account. But at the same time, there may be a skill you could use, a person you could call, an opportunity sitting right next to the problem. You just cannot see it. Your brain is locked in. If you are unhappy in a relationship, your brain starts collecting only the bad moments. It filters out the good ones. It is almost like your brain says, whatever you stare at becomes your world. Parents understand this better than anyone. They can sleep through traffic, noise, neighbors, even a train passing nearby. But if their baby makes the smallest sound, they wake up instantly. Why? The brain decides what matters and turns the volume down on everything else. So when you are stuck on a problem, sometimes the solution is not to think harder. Sometimes you need to break the focus. Take a short walk. Change rooms. Step away from your phone. Sit in silence for a few minutes. And suddenly, the option you could not see becomes visible. Sometimes the problem is not that there is no solution. The problem is that your brain is staring at the wrong thing. The third game is this: your brain falls in love with its first idea. Researchers gave people 3 numbers, 2, 4, 6. Then they said, figure out the rule. Most people immediately think, it goes up by 2. So they test it. 8, 10, 12. Correct. 20, 22, 24. Correct. Now they feel confident. They think they found it. But that was not the real rule. The real rule was much simpler. Each number only has to be bigger than the one before it. So 1, 2, 3 would work. 5, 10, 9,000 would work. But most people never test that. Why? Because once the brain finds a pattern, it grabs onto it. And then, it starts looking only for evidence that proves it right. This happens in relationships all the time. You think, they do not love me anymore. Then your brain starts collecting proof. They replied late. Proof. They sounded tired. Proof. They forgot something small. Proof. But anything that might prove the opposite gets ignored. Your brain does not always want the truth. Sometimes, it just wants to be right. That is why one of the most powerful questions you can ask is, what if I am completely wrong about this? That question can change your life. The fourth game is this. Sometimes, knowing too much can make you blind. There is an old example about bees and flies in a glass bottle. Put bees in a bottle with light shining from one side, and they keep flying toward the light. For bees, the rule is already built in. Light means exit. But if the real opening is somewhere else, they keep hitting the glass. They get exhausted. They never escape. Now put flies in the same bottle. Flies do not follow that same rule. They move randomly. They hit different sides. They try different directions. And eventually, they find the way out. Not because they are smarter, but because they are not trapped by the same assumption. Now think about your own life. I am not good at this. I am not a social person. I always fail. This is just how things work. Those sentences can become invisible walls. The brain loves what it already knows. It feels safe there. But safe is not always freedom. Sometimes, growth starts the moment you stop acting like you already know the answer and stop asking the same question the same way. Instead of asking, why can't I do this? You ask, what if there is another way? Some people are not failing from a lack of ability. They simply stopped experimenting too soon. The fifth game looks small, but it can change everything. The words you use shape the way your brain moves. There are 2 words that can drain your energy almost instantly. Yes, but I do not have enough money. Yes, but I do not have time. Yes, but I already tried. The moment you say, but, your brain starts closing doors. It stops looking for a path and starts building an excuse. But there is a small shift that changes the whole direction. Replace but with and. I do not have much money, and I can start small. I do not have much time, and I can give it 10 minutes a day. I am scared, and I can still try. Feel the difference? One sentence shuts you down, the other keeps you moving. In improv theater, there is a rule called yes and. If one actor says something on stage, and the other actor says no, the scene dies. But if the second actor says yes and, the story continues. Life works the same way. When you keep saying, but, your mind stops. When you say, and, your mind starts looking for the next move. The sixth game is this. Acceptance is not the same as giving up. A lot of people confuse those two things. When something goes wrong, we instantly resist it. This should not be happening. Why me? I cannot accept this. But the situation does not disappear just because you fight it. And all your energy goes into arguing with reality. Acceptance does not mean you like it. It does not mean you approve of it. It does not mean you stop trying. It means you stop wasting energy fighting the fact that it happened. Imagine you lose your job. If your mind keeps repeating, this should not have happened, you stay trapped in the past. But the moment you say, okay, this happened, and what can I do now? Control starts coming back. Now your energy is moving toward the solution, not the wound. There are things in life you cannot change, but you can change your response. And sometimes, what exhausts you the most is not the event itself. It is your refusal to accept that the event is already here. Try this with one small thing today. Say, okay, this is here, just for 10 seconds. Then ask, and what can I do now? You will feel your mind slowly start to settle. The seventh game may be the most important one. The thing you think is your weakness might actually be your strength. People are brutal with themselves. I overthink everything. I am too emotional. I am too slow. I am messy. But what if the story is not that simple? What if overthinking is also analysis? What if being emotional is also empathy? What if being slow means you notice details? What if being messy is connected to creativity? Same trait, different label. And your brain believes labels. If you repeat something long enough, your brain starts treating it like identity. Someone calls a kid lazy, and years later, that person still carries the label. But maybe they were not lazy. Maybe they were bored. Maybe they were overwhelmed. Maybe they were in the wrong environment. But the label became stronger than the truth. So be careful with the words you use on yourself. Your brain is listening. Now, how do you actually use all of this in real life? Keep it simple. Tomorrow morning, choose one problem that is on your mind. It does not have to be huge, just something that keeps pulling your attention. Then write 3 lines. First, I accept. Write the situation as it is. Second, and continue without using but. Third, what is the smallest step I can take today? Make it tiny, 5 minutes if needed. For example, I accept that I am not happy with my job, and I can learn something new for 10 minutes a day. My smallest step today is to watch one useful video. That is it. It looks small, but this is how your brain begins to change. Your life is not shaped only by big decisions. It is shaped by the thoughts you repeat every day. And here is another question you can use anytime you feel stuck. What am I not seeing right now? That question is powerful. Sometimes the gorilla in your life is right in front of you. You just cannot see it when your attention is somewhere else. Look, life is not going to become completely easy. And honestly, it does not have to. Muscle grows through resistance. People grow through problems. But your brain can turn protection into a prison. It can distort reality. It can make you afraid. It can trap you in your first idea. It can keep telling you the same old story until you mistake that story for truth. But here is the good news. Once you notice the game starts losing power. You do not have to believe every thought your brain gives you. You are not just running on autopilot anymore. A little more control is back in your hands. So today, choose one thing. Just one. Accept it. Say and take one small step. Maybe tomorrow, the same problem will still be there, but you will not be the same person.